Schneid.
Hi, welcome everyone to Three Bones YouTube channel. My name is Tiffany Bryan Jackson, Education Manager here at Three Bone, and I have our Artistic and Operations Director with us and our current director for our production of Jaja's African Hair Braiding. Welcome, Donna and Robin.
Hi,
And
welcome.
YouTube viewers.
All right. So we have some great questions we want to ask these two. I'm going to start with Robin because this is a hot new show on the scene. So how did it become on your radar?
Yeah, so this Jaja's just kind of lit up Broadway, and it was incredibly popular. Jocelyn Bio as a playwright has been on our radar for a while now, and so we were kind of following, it as her newest work. And Becky got a chance to go see it when she was up in New York for her job, and just felt like, okay, we could really do this and we could do it well, and we have the people for it, and so that's kind of how it got on our radar. We applied for rights thinking that, there's probably a very slim chance that we would get them. And we got them, which is great. And they then announced their I think it's maybe 4 or 5 stop national tour. And we were a little worried that they were going to pull it for that, but they're not coming anywhere near Charlotte, and we've been allowed to proceed. So this is really like one of the first places in the country off of Broadway that you can see the production, and that's always very cool. So we're really excited. I mean, it is a fresh show. It is very contemporary. It's very relevant. And we're thrilled to be able to produce it in Charlotte.
I love it. I'm gonna give a small shout out because on that touring cast, there is a Charlotte local on there.
Yeah.
So check that out if you want to see how big Charlotte can grow while we're making magic here. There are Charlotte teens making magic somewhere else.
Great.
Now, you mentioned, Robin, that when you saw it, you recognized that we in this city had the people to cast the show, which we do. We have some wonderful talent in Charlotte. But looking for a director, we went out a little bit outside the city a little bit and we came across Miss Donna. So I'd love to see how Donna came on your radar. And then, Donna, I'm going to throw it to you and see your thoughts on getting the initial contact to take on this project.
Well, we've been wanting to work with Donna for a long time. I don't even know if Donna and I have talked about this, but I remember seeing a piece that Donna directed at some NCTC event. It was maybe at Imagine On or at Children's, I don't know, or maybe at UNCG. I don't remember, but years ago, and loving that piece. And so I kind of knew who Donna was through NCTC. And then when Becky served on the board of NCTC, I think, Becky and Donna got to know each other a little better. And we've gotten to support, Donna's work through Common Thread Theater
Mhm.
up at Davidson, and they're doing their summer programming. Um and so yeah, so we were just really, then it was like, oh, so she's making the trip to Davidson. She'll probably make the trip to Charlotte.
I love it.
So we
So have that,
we
yeah.
approached her about this, and we're really lucky that she said yes.
Hadn't thought of that.
Yes. Then I want to hear from your perspective when you initially got contacted and said, hey, Three Bone is doing this awesome show and we'd love to have you at the helm of directing. What were your thoughts initially?
Well, I knew Becky for X amount of years because we were on NCTC's board together, and I knew Three Bone, and I knew Robin adjacent to that, um, and worked with Robin's husband with Common Thread because Robin comes and supports everybody. Um, and when I met Robin, I thought, man, I want to work with Three Bone. And when I met Becky, I said, well, because their mission and vision is so strong, and these young ladies, taking on these tough stories. So I always wanted to work with. So when Robin called me and said, we're doing Jaja's African hair braiding, I knew of the show because I was in Connecticut doing some work and never got to see the show, but wanted to see it desperately. And when Jaja's African hair braiding came out of her mouth, I was like, what? And then she explained that they got the rights to do it. So I was honored, first of all, to do any work. I am 62, so I've been in the game a long time. and haven't always been able to do the type of work that I wanted to do just because I'm an African American female. So now it seems like in the last 20 years, an evolution has happened in theater. And Three Bones has been at the leadership of that and taking on these stories that a lot of people don't tell, don't want to tell, are afraid to tell. So I was just honored because I knew of the company for years and always wanted to, we're a male dominated profession. So to work with women in leadership roles and to be in tech rehearsal and scan the room, it's all women doing it. We have a lone lighting designer who's a man, but everything else is men. Those moments to me are really profound. They hit my spirit and my soul really hard because I've just been doing it for so long and it hasn't always been that way. And to co-collaborate with women, it just feeds my spirit. So that's one of the major reasons why, because it's a successful company, first of all, award-winning, major grant getting, in the news. You all have done some dynamic work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, y'all have. Tiffany and I immediately jailed at auditions. So for me, it's been profound. I'm not going to start crying.
No, don't cry. Don't cry. You did say something that I didn't notice until you just said it about our tech run, that there's one lone guy on the tech team, but there's also one lone guy in the entire production, which I love as a parallel. For those who don't notice, this show is about the lives of women in this braiding shop, and many of them are immigrants from different countries in Africa. No, different countries in Africa.
Yeah.
And we are getting pieces of their story, and it's so much about them. There is a male, and he plays various roles, but it's a chance for us to feel inside their lives for 90 minutes of so many women. And I love that about our show, and I obviously love that about our company. It's one thing I do appreciate because we're in the room where it happens. So we're making it happen. Donna, I want your thoughts. When you came to audition, we got to meet, I guess, spoiler alert for those who are like, Tiffany's the education manager. On this show, I added an extra hat on my head because why not? And I am assistant director, which is essentially keeping Donna straight. That's what I do. But Donna and I met at auditions, and I want to talk about it, Donna, because you were coming to our city and watching women coming in, very talented women. So I want to know your thoughts on coming to the city and seeing the representation and so many ways that you could potentially cast this show.
Yeah, so I have to admit, don't tell anybody viewing this. I thought to myself, I'm going to have to find me some Greensboro actors because I don't know what's happening in Charlotte because I done work down here before, but I haven't done it in years. I could have cast the show 2 or 3 times over. Yeah. We lost a couple of actors. It was easy to just pull. The talent was dynamic. And I was very pleased because as a director, you got to cast your show. I mean, that's your job. So I was and some powerhouses. So it's been a great experience. I was relieved because I said to a couple of Greensboro actors, I might need you to look at coming to Charlotte. I don't know what's going to walk in the door. But really, you all have cultivated a community of actors and want to work with Three Bones. And a lot of them have never worked with the company before, but came specifically, not because of me, not because of the show, but because they wanted to work with the company. So it was exciting and easy to cast. Hard because we had so much talent. But yeah, it was fun. It was good stuff.
I love that you noted that there have been conversations around theater for years about wanting shows where a group of Black women can participate. That's outside. We have For Color Girls, which is beautiful, but that's been done a few times. We have a few other shows like that, but we don't have that many where we can gather a collection of Black women in the room and let them have the space. So I know that's something you think about, Robin, when we are looking at shows as a team, is who is on the stage and who is represented. Do you want to add a note about that when you thought about this show?
Yeah, I mean, Tiffany, I remember talking with you quite a bit when we did Tony Stone,
Hmm.
which it was this huge cast, all black cast with one woman in it.
A story
Shout out,
about the woman.
yeah,
Right.
shout out to Nasha, who was brilliant.
Yeah.
But I think we had a conversation after that was like, man, just like the amount of talent that came out for auditions for that, and we only had one role for a black woman, and I just, it was like we gotta be more intentional about picking shows where we can really showcase that community. And um yeah, and so, then we did Glorious World, which definitely
Hmm.
kind of allowed us to do that again, an opportunity to work with a lot of people who hadn't worked with us before. um which is, it's so I really, there's been a good community base building there, but that has taken, years of relationship building and producing work like that. And I think that's one of the things that is just always interesting around casting, and we, we learn through it too. Is, I think a lot of times theater companies are like, well, where are the actors, right? Where are the actors of color? Where are, whatever demographic they're trying to specifically cast? And so much of that is about relationship building that takes time and
Mhm.
effort. And it's not something where you can, just post it on your regular channels and
Yeah.
assume that people are going to trust you and are going to show up and feel safe in that environment. And so I think that it's been a long time of us doing this work, Tiffany, and
It is.
you've been a big part of that too. And our board has been a big part of making sure that that's an important part of, kind of how we're building things. And just knowing that it takes time, it takes genuine relationship building. So yeah, I mean, I felt really excited about the cast because having only three of the cast members, out of a cast of 10 of people
Hmm.
who we've worked with before, I was like, oh my God, how cool is
Yeah.
this? And they're all so good. And, there's some younger roles than what we have a lot of times, and working with some of those younger actors has been great. And so I'm just thrilled. I can't wait for Charlotte to see the amazing work that they've put in, that you and Donna have put in, our wonderful designers and stage managers. So I think it's gonna knock people's socks off.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
want to know it is a bunch of newcomers, but one of the things that I love, and Donna, you can speak to this in the room, is there's at least three generations in that
Oh,
room.
yes. Yes.
And the way they come together to work on this is beautiful
Yes.
because you could very easily have one generation is like, I don't have time to talk to these 22-year-olds. But that's not what
Yeah.
you get in this room. So it is a bonding that is beautiful to see because not only is it bringing in newness, it's also allowing us, because that's not also common, right? Generationally,
Yeah, yeah.
having three generations in one
Right.
room in one show is not common. So Donna, tell me about coming to the first read through, really seeing this cast kind of meld together. What has that felt like?
So, I teach collegiate theater, and you really have control over the students. You can bring them in and match them up. Professional theater is not that way. They come in individually, and sometimes you might have a couple of them. So, read-throughs for me in professional theater are always these enlightening moments because it's really the first time we get to see these people that we chose in pockets together. So, I'm trying to find the right word, terrified if the right decisions were made. About 5 minutes into it, I knew that we had done a great job. It was over on Zoom, so I was able to cut my camera off so I could weep if and I knew immediately that we had done some good casting, Tiffany. So I wasn't concerned going into the actual process because, casting is practically It's 99.9% of your show.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
when you get the right people in the room. So
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I just know we have the right people in the room. And now that we're here, we're about to open, I know it for sure. And
Yes.
they have really jailed too.
They have, and this is my every video, I have to say it. I'll say it right now. If you're watching this and you have not purchased your tickets, pause this recording, go over to our website and order your tickets now because it will sell out. We've already sold out some shows
Yep. Wow.
and real close to some others. So do not
Wow.
pretend that I'm a liar. Like, go now.
Right.
Pause. I say that because every time, Rami, you know this, we'll say it and then people will be like, oh my God, it's sold out. Yes.
Yes,
We've
it's
been
sold out.
warning you.
It's sold out. And it's a
It's
small,
a,
intimate space.
yeah.
Yeah, so and the work, there's a reputation behind Three Bones that is not unknown. So you need to get your ticket. I
See,
got my ticket.
co-signing from Donna.
Yeah.
Uh,
And my family's coming down as a group and
Yeah.
an organization I work with, they're coming down as a group. So yeah,
we have a few
get your
groups
ticket.
on this one, which
Yeah.
is a great
Couple
experience
university
because
groups. Yeah.
I think particularly we are in an interesting time. We're in the midst of elections, and this is very, very on time for conversations that are happening around who leads this country and who fits into this country. So there's lots of laughs, but there's also lots of thinking you need to do. As with any three-bone show, we want to send you home with thoughts
Yeah.
and things to talk about because it's really key. I want to ask each of you what I ask everyone. I don't want to spoil the show too much and I don't like giving it away, so I like to keep these a little short. But I do want you each to tell me what's one thing you want an audience member to go home with after this show. First, if you guys are thinking really hard. I think I've said this before. I want you to go home and look at your neighbors.
Yeah.
Tell me what you know about your neighbors because every character in the show is someone you know.
Yeah.
I can almost guarantee it's someone you know. And you may not know their background story. You might have not taken time to understand their backgrounds, but I would encourage you to take a look around and get to know someone in your sphere that you've never talked to before. I also encourage you to do some research. If you notice in the beginning, I said countries in Africa. There's a
Yes.
misconception that the continent is a country, and that is not it. So I'd love you to do some research on some of those countries inside of that large continent. That's my takeaway.
Excellent. So I think I know what I want audiences to take away. I think I know. And I'm always careful about that, but I'm always want to say that. I want the importance of relationships with people that you have something in common with and people that you don't have anything in common with, which is what Tiffany just touched on with your neighbor, and that there's a bigger story
Mhm.
about their lives. We never know what anybody's going through. You never
Mhm.
know the things that are tormenting them or traumas they've been through or hurt
Mhm.
or great things that have happened to them because people don't reveal their stories to you. If they're your neighbor, you pass them in the hallway. But I think we have to always, I think theater gives us an opportunity, especially with a company like Three Bones, to really delve into relationships and get people's backstories and what drives them and what pushes them and what makes them have an attitude, what makes them happy, what makes them feel like they don't belong. So I think that's really important, and that's what I want people to take away from the show
Thank
is
you.
relationships
Yeah.
and explore what people are going through.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all sort of saying the same thing. I wanted to tie it back to our theme for the season, right? Which is the ties that bind, that this idea that we're all in this together, that
Mhm.
these stories that we've picked for this season and Jaja's in particular is about how we are connected to one another and that those communities are how we're going to get through this,
Mhm.
right? All of this, right? Like that community of care, that those connections, that those responsibilities for ourselves and each other are what's gonna allow us to make it through, um and I love that you talked about getting to know your neighbors, Tiffany, and like that kind of hyper local
Mhm.
philosophy. And I think, we, we have some wonderful artists who are joining us outside of Charlotte, but these are North Carolina
Yeah.
artists putting together this piece, and it's it's so, I love that the message that we're sharing with audiences is also something that we are creating internally, right? Like we are
Yeah.
creating
Yes.
of care, we are creating those connections. And that's just really exciting. So I hope people come away from the show feeling connected to that and getting curious about how they can continue to spread out that connection and create those webs.
Fantastic. Yes, I think the beautiful
Great.
thing about this show is you can see yourself in any one of them. You do not have to come from where they came from to see yourself
Yeah.
and who they are. Donna asked this question early on to the cast, who do they most relate to? Not who their character is, but
Mhm.
which character in this show that people relate to. And that was a beautiful exercise because it made people think like, huh. And again, we do have some actors who are first generation, second generation immigrants to America, which is beautiful, but we have some that are not. So getting
Yeah.
everyone's take on who they see is
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Thank you both for giving me some time today to talk about this. Again, to anyone watching this, this is your warning. Go get your tickets now.
Go get them
This
now.
is the fresh show
That's
leaving
right.
Broadway, hitting your city starting November 8th. You do not want to miss it. Thank you again, Donna and Robin. I hope everyone seeks you out a little more because each of you is a genius in your own right. So I want more people to get to know you and talk to you and know all of your works, both of you.
Well, all of
And if
that
you,
is back to you too,
That,
Tiffany.
Tiffany,
thank you.
you challenge me every day to think deeper and harder about my work. You do. In
I
a nice
appreciate
way.
you.
You really do. You really do.
I do. Don and I are essentially very similar. So for those who
Yes.
don't know, as we were casting the show, we're about 2 decades off from each other. But as we were casting, our notes were just about the same.
Yes. Yes.
We end up at the same conclusion. Donna might be to the left, but I'll be like, hey, and she'll be like, you know what? You are, yeah, that's that it is. Or sometimes I just wait and I don't say it, and then she says it, and I go,
There you go.
yes, we're
Yeah.
on the same page. So it's been a
It's been a
beautiful.
great co-collaboration. It really has.
I love it. It's
Okay.
my
I
left eye
love
might have
that.
been twitching for a week.
But other than that, it was
It's fine now. Cause we're birthing a baby, y'all. This is
It's
we're
true.
birthing
During election week.
magic.
that's right.
Yeah,
During election week. There's a lot going on. A
it
lot
is a
going on.
lot. But my eyes aren't twitching because I'm nervous about the show itself. It's beautiful, but you have to bring it forth, and that is just a process.
That's right.
So I want everyone to take some time to come see that beautiful process and support your local actors. Don, I'm still going to count you as local. I think I told you the other day, you just live here now. You don't know it yet.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and it's just been a great opportunity. So everyone else, I'll see you in another week with some more content from this show. But again, get your tickets now. Come see Jaja's African Hair Braiding. We'll see you next time.